What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Kickback FC. Appreciate you guys tuning into our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome, guys, back to another episode of the Kickback FC. I'm joined with my boy, my fellow co-host today, Muhammad. My brother, how you feeling?
Feeling great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Feeling good. Summer is rapidly coming to an end.
Yeah, about to
Um,
be August.
yeah, man, enjoying a lot of summer soccer. I feel like this WAFCON tournament and the women's Euros, as well as the Copa America on the women's side, is that's the last three tournaments of the summer. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, man, it's a little bittersweet. It's been a lot of great football this summer, definitely on the women's side.
Yeah.
Um, you know, again, just before we start, just wanted to say appreciate everybody for tuning in. Your guys' continued support. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from these WAFCON episodes. And just highlighting the talent that's in the women's game, specifically in Africa. So shout out to the growth of women's football on the continent.
Yeah.
In this episode today, we're going to look back on the semifinals of the WAFCON. So Nigeria versus South Africa, and then Ghana versus Morocco as well. Um,
Mhm.
so just starting off with the recaps for the semifinals, man. Let's start with Nigeria versus South Africa. Um, going
Yeah.
into the tournament, we said we talked about who we thought were the favorites going into the tournament: Nigeria, South Africa, and Morocco.
Mhm.
All three of those teams made it to the semifinal.
Yeah.
Two of the three teams are now in the final.
Yeah.
Um, so a last minute, thriller for Nigeria. Great game. The match wasn't over until it was over, and boy, when it was over, it was over.
Yeah. Yeah. That
so,
was.
uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
man, 2-1 on the day. Nigeria takes the semifinal um, into their record 10th final of the Women's African Cup of Nations. No other team has more than 5 appearances in the final.
Mhm.
Um, Nigeria, before I don't even, well, I'll save that for when we do the actual preview for the final. But yeah, takeaways for you. Were you surprised at all with the result?
Um, I think the result. Not really. I think I had predicted Nigeria to win.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the game really changed when, unfortunately, Gabriela Salgado got injured.
Hmm.
Because before that, everything that happened kind of felt in the scenario. Um, Nigeria came out clearly still vibing off that quarterfinals win against Zambia,
Right.
um, and did not make any changes coming into the game. South Africa made a few changes where I also thought, yeah, some of these changes were necessary, especially in midfield.
Right.
Uh, and then on the left hand side, so Salgado came in on that left hand side, and Gameda came in the middle to have like Jane, Motlalo, and her in the middle,
Yeah.
um, which meant a bit more security on the ball, allowing for Motlalo to try and be like the creative spark, whilst having like two players behind who can kind of direct play. Um, so it was an interesting setup. It did show like that Desiree Ellis definitely did her homework. Her and her
Yeah.
team did the homework, and they're like, okay, we're not going to do what Zambia tried to do and press Nigeria high. We're gonna, they went into a 4-5-1, which I in our conversation, like you had asked me what I would have done facing Nigeria in that game, especially after going down. Like I was like, yeah, just go two banks of four and then flat.
Yeah.
Uh, Kind of what Desiree Ellis did here, basically going 4-5-1 and trying to get from that. But I think Nigeria was clearly just the better team. But yeah, they needed like the pen basically from Ajibade to go through. Who I am so curious to see what team is gonna like scoop her up after this tournament.
Mhm.
I have an inkling that she already signed somewhere,
Mhm.
but she's like putting it off to not get distracted before it all gets announced. Because once it gets announced, people want
Yeah.
to go talk about it, and yeah, you don't want to do that now. You want to just focus on your tournament. Um, so we'll see. But I think yeah, and then obviously, I think in the second half, a few things happened. Um, Nigeria started looking to settle. It felt like they were settling in the game, and South Africa started pushing more and more. And eventually, they got a PK as well. And Motlalo, 2 for 2 this tournament. Yeah, scoring the first goal that Nigeria has considered the whole tournament, and it comes from a PK. Um, and then, yeah, in literally as we were going towards extra time, unfortunately, Gabriel Salgado, um, I'm still not. It's with her knee. I don't know what it is, but it looked so bad. And given the player's reaction, it even looked worse.
Yeah.
Because they were really like screaming, hands on their heads, kind of like basically physically removing themselves from what they were seeing. That was how bad it was. So I really, really feel for her. Starting the tournament on the bench and slowly working your way up onto the starting 11 in the semis, and then seconds away from the full 90, something like this occurring. I really wish her a lot of strength and courage, because it's going to be a definitely long recovery journey. And I think, yeah, few minutes after that, um, yeah, yeah, Okoronko gets the ball, plays it out to Michel Alozi, someone who I've been shouting out this entire tournament. Yeah, she whips it in. It's definitely not a shot. It's something in between a shot and a cross.
Mm.
And then I think the South African defenders just switched off, or were still switched off after the incident early on. And they allowed the ball to bounce and reacted slow, and boom, goal. Nigeria scores that. I mean, Alozie is going to claim the goal, obviously.
Yeah. That she
Uh,
did.
yeah. So yeah, she rightfully claimed it, and then I think that was just the end of the game because it was like in the 95th minute.
Yeah.
There was no more time to play after that for South Africa. So it's like a very bitter way for the defending champs to unfortunately go out of the tournament with such a serious injury and then conceding like that. But I read a few interviews later on where, first off, even as Nigerian players were celebrating, you could tell the minute the game ended, the first thing they all did was try and look for like Gabriela Salgado, trying to like see how she was doing. Went to the hospital. Um, the Nigerian FA and their social media team brought out an entire statement, being like, hey, support you, we're here with you, which just shows this very strong bond and sisterhood. And I think a lot of players after the game also were saying, on the field, we're competitors, but outside of the field, we're sisters. We're all trying to not only put ourselves, our nations, but we're also trying to put Africa on the map.
Right.
Uh, so every player is needed in that like progression of the women's game on the continent. And even today, the Ghanaian team, the Black Queens, also visited her in the hospital. President Ramaphosa, who aka Mr. Cupcake, he even like word out an entire statement in support of the team and Gabriel. Gabriela Salgado. So I think it just goes to show how uniquely engaged everyone is with each other. And as much as Nigerians and South Africans have this vibe between them, that's, little bickering at times here and there, but the love is really, really there. Uh, and in the end, we all love the game, but we're also humans. And when something like this happens, I'm just glad that the support has been very like clear and uh, yeah. But I think Nigeria had a way tougher game than I had expected, and I don't think South Africa would have lost this game in that last minute without that injury. I really do believe Dr. Ellis when she says, "Yeah, I for once that injury happened, I stopped being a coach. I became a mother to all my players in that moment." And that is, um, yeah, as I mean, as those that have played and have seen some people getting injured during a game, we all understand the gravity of that moment when you see someone literally just go from playing to, yeah, you're about to be out for a year or more
Yeah.
potential. Um, so yeah, man, it's. I think that moment just really so kind of like changed the game and kind of gave this vibe about the game, even though rightfully we're getting Nigeria on their way to, mission X of completing it. But still, I think an injury like that just like kind of clouds over everything that happened on the field.
No, absolutely, man, and prayers to Gabriel Salgado, man, because like like you said, like you could tell, like it was one of those things where immediately they were just trying to remove themselves from the situation mentally. I mean, visually they saw what they saw, but you could tell how impactful that moment was for everybody on the pitch, not just South Africa. And
Yeah.
then, especially someone, you know, you don't wish this upon anybody, but
Mhm.
someone of her stature, someone of her caliber, had a great tournament this season, great
Mhm.
player.
Yeah.
When you see someone like that go down, it's very like demoralizing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Kind of, not saying that South Africa don't have the players to kind of keep pushing, but that's a tough moment to kind of come back from, especially when you're that, especially where they were in the game. It's at the end of the game. It's a very like deflating moment, and then
Yeah.
for them to inevitably concede the goal the way that they did, like you could just tell, like it was such a just a deflating moment. Um, and then the goal really just nailed, kind of put the nail in the coffin there. So prayers to her. I hope she's healthy first and foremost. She's okay, and she gets back onto the field and um, continue continue being the player that she is. Um, but no, you made a great point in terms of like the support that everyone showed. Um, Even the Ghanaians hadn't kind of nothing to do with the situation. They
Yeah.
were
They
removed from
were.
the game, and I think that that's one of the things that really makes this tournament specifically. I mean, we could talk about like the women's game in general. I think we said it a few episodes ago of just um, the vibes of like these these games. I mean, like yes, they're competitors. Yes, they want to win, but at the end of the day, like there's the human aspect of everything, and you know, even just like it's such a touching moment hearing like the coach saying like I removed, like I wasn't a coach at that moment. I'm being like a mother at that point to all of my players, and wanting to protect them from whatever it was that they saw. But um, prayers to her, man. Prayers for the whole South African team, the nation, the supporters of them. That was a tough way to go out. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, they won the tournament last year. How would you grade their overall tournament? Obviously, they didn't advance to the final, uh,
Mhm.
but they were one of the best teams going into this. I was actually listening to somebody, I forgot who it was. He was on, I think, ESPN Africa, and he was saying like the two best teams met in the semifinal, uh,
Hmm.
in Nigeria and South Africa. But I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on their tournament?
Yeah, I don't agree with that statement. I think
I
Morocco
do
has
either.
definitely been a team. I think Morocco is definitely be one of the better teams, and I think South Africa is definitely, yeah, like they're there where they are because they've had a great tournament.
Right.
Uh, uh, I think when it comes to how they did, I think they can really be proud of the tournament they had. I feel like this was potentially one of the final hurrahs for this team in
Hmm.
the way it's currently constructed. And I say this because looking at some of the players and the injuries, um, I'm not sure. I mean, the WAFCON is happening again soon, like in 2026.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe that 1 year is not gonna be crazy, but I think 3 years from now, a good portion of this South African squad is gonna be phased out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Moved on.
yeah, exactly. So I think the next tournament is gonna be more challenging potentially
For
because I
sure.
don't feel like there were a lot of new players introduced into this.
Yeah.
Because if you look at someone like Monterrey's Jeremy Seposenwe, who I believe is announced her retirement from international football after this tournament. Yeah, it's her last tournament. I think Motlalo is 27, so she probably has like two more AFCONs in her. But then I think there are other players in their defense and somewhat on the wings. Yeah, you need a new generation to start standing up.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like they came to this tournament to go as far as possible to potentially win it again.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I think if we're grading their tournament, it's definitely a B plus. Obviously, an A would have been winning it,
Hmm.
but going all the way to the semifinals and losing to record holding African giants, powerhouses, Nigeria is not a shame. Like it's really like you know, it's like going to
Yeah.
the Champions League semifinals and losing to Madrid. You're not like
Yeah.
it's Real Madrid, bro. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna feel some type of way about it, but when you really think about it, you're like, we made it to the
Yeah.
semifinal. We
For
can be
sure.
proud of it. I mean, and obviously, um, I'm just curious what's going to happen next because when the team is reaching that end of an era, end
Yeah.
of a period, I'm curious what's happening next. If there's a pipeline ready with new players, is Katlana coming back even though she is in her 30s?
Yeah.
Uh, so it's a lot. It's a lot of. I think there's a lot of questions for the future, but I think this tournament was definitely uh, what it this was, I think, the maximum of what South Africa had. And then now they still have the chance to be third, which I think would be a good thing as well. So they did not underperform, they did not overperform. I think they performed on exactly where I would have ranked them at
Hmm.
the start of the tournament. Um, yeah, so it's definitely been like it's not a remarkable run, but it was a good run. It was a great run.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, I think you can't take away a team that. I mean, you were the last one of the last four teams remaining in the tournament. Um, like I said, if you look at their side of the bracket, I mean, at some point, two of the three teams that we were talking about, we're gonna have to meet. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, they were one of them. But yeah, prayers out to Salgado. I hope she's okay, and I hope that just the team, and her most importantly, can recover from this and that they can, come back healthy. But We'll talk about Nigeria here in a little bit, but before we do, I just wanted to touch on Morocco versus Ghana.
Yeah.
Ghana had a great start. Oh, and before I go, the correspondent I was listening to was Colin Udo, the Nigerian sports journalist.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I feel like there's a little bit of Nigerian bias there.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely bias. There's definitely a bias there.
But shout out to you, man. Anybody that's shedding light on the tournament and talking about the women's game
is a win. Yeah.
Is okay in my book. So
yeah, it's a win.
So Morocco versus Ghana, man. Ghana had a great start.
Yeah,
scored first. I was actually surprised with how kind of the I would say almost damn near the first half went. But they got the goal early, man, and then obviously the it went into penalties and the Morocco came out victorious. But just what were your thoughts on the game, man? Specifically the Black Queens.
I think Ghana, as they progressed in this tournament, I think they had a phenomenal tournament. New coach, not a lot of time, but something actually that stood out to me was the 4 teams that we saw in the semis were the 4 teams that had the best preparations for the tournament.
Wow.
Because in the first piece I wrote in June, I think a month or a bit more than a month before the tournament, I was already looking at how teams were preparing. South Africa had a tournament at home with Botswana and Zambia. But you already saw their Instagrams, their Facebooks, very active. Training camp already started. Morocco was in training camp. I think Nigeria is one of the later teams that went, but Morocco and Ghana were super locked in, and their communications were super nice. They were literally in the pool doing recovery, in the gym, on the beach. They were in Morocco already, getting into the vibe of the country and the weather and all of that. And I was sitting there thinking Zambia is not even on training camp yet.
Yeah.
Especially teams that had a lot of WNSL players were not in training camp yet. So, and I think that kind of showed in the tournament. A lot of Morocco kind of just hit the ground running. Ghana just kind of hit the ground running. And what I've really, really, really loved about this tournament for Ghana is seeing Stella Nyameki and Princess Mafo, who both play in the WNSL, and really kind of on the fringes of their team. But it's they're talented, but they're not ready yet. Both kind of come into this tournament and really just show that, hey, no, if I'm in the environment where I'm trusted, I'm giving time to be myself, and all of those things are sitting well, I can be of value to the team. I think Marfo had an okay game, but Nyameki obviously scored the goal and actually had a really good game. Where in other games she was still finding her footing, because obviously if you don't play a lot of minutes the entire season and you get just dropped in the tournament, you're not gonna peak yet. You're gonna need time to get into it. And I felt like the last 2 games they were really into that vibe. So I hope they bring that form into the WNSL and they actually also get more minutes in their teams respectively. So I think Ghana has basically missed the last WAFCON, and now they were in the semifinals. That tells me that's a jump. That's a massive jump. If I'm Ghana, what my plan would be, I'm going to start scouting the England under 18s, under 19s, under 20s, and under 21 teams.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing a certain Agimang is currently putting that England team on her back.
100%.
And she is eligible to play for the Ghanaian team. So if I'm Ghana, I'm gonna go start looking in the diaspora and bringing in some of these players, because obviously I think you need the mix between homegrown and players that are playing at the very high level who are diaspora.
Yes.
Shaney, Chantel, who also was one of the revelations for me in this tournament, who's going to be with the she's with the London City Lionesses and will be in the WSL the coming year.
Mhm.
Um, I think she was an addition. This was her first WAFCON. These were her first games with the Ghanaian national team. I think she was definitely a surplus. So I think Ghana literally should be going out of this tournament with, okay, how do we build from this?
Right.
Because you've shown that you have a generation here that you
Yep.
can build around. I think Senegal, if I'm Senegal, Algeria, same vibe that I had. It's like
Right.
you can build on this, but please don't fumble the bag now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
please build on this. So yeah, no, I think Ghana can really go into that third, fourth game for the third and fourth place and just do their thing. Like either you win it or not doesn't really change the outcome, but it's good to be third. It's better than fourth.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think them placing in the top 3 in the tournament, I think, is definitely a step up for sure. I mean, from not being in it to being one of the last 4, I think definitely is a step up for them. Definitely signs of progress. And I think, like you said, if a team like them, Algeria, Senegal, if you can really build off of this tournament, you make a strong case for yourself in 2026. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. I mean, obviously, the powerhouses they're not going anywhere.
No.
But you can definitely try and close that gap
Yeah.
by, building off of um what you have. But no, man, great analysis. I shout out to all my Ghanaians. My one of the co-hosts, Mike, he couldn't be here today.
Hmm.
He was ecstatic when the Ghanaians scored first. Um, and then I didn't hear from him for the rest of the game. So shout out to Mike, man, and the Ghanaians. But
Yeah.
yeah, bro. So both Morocco and Nigeria were able to advance. Like you said, I agree. These are the 2 best teams in the final. I think for different reasons. I think Nigeria on paper is the best team. I think that they have the reputation, they have the experience, and most importantly, I think that they have.
Hmm.
And it's funny, like I'm gonna say they have something to prove, and it's hard to say that when a team is chasing their, I mean, Mission X, they're chasing their 10th title. You'd probably think like, how does a team like that have something to prove? But I think kind of, that they've went into especially this like knockout round. I feel like they went into it with kind of like a chip on their shoulder. I mean, we saw what they did to Zambia,
Mhm.
and then they showed it was a different type of win, the win that they were able to get versus South Africa. But
Yeah.
I think when you're able to just kind of crank out results like that, I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to bet against them then. And then, you have Morocco, the host nation, already a great team, but you're playing in front of your country. I think you have that home support. Um, I think you made a great point. Like, didn't they get like all evening games? They got all the night games,
Yep.
all the weekend games.
All the weekend games, all the evening games,
Yeah.
the
And shout out
entire.
to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to them, man. I think I'm gonna get to this in here in a little bit when we kind of talk about like our superlatives for
Mhm.
the tournament. But I've really enjoyed watching Shibak this tournament. I've always, like I don't know, bro. Like we know that these players are good, but then like I don't know, bro. For me, it's something like when they come in, when you put on the national team jersey, like it's a different vibe, it's a different feel, and I think that she really has solidified herself as like one of the best winger. Like I don't know, there's a lot of great wingers in the game. She's definitely up there for me, and she's been really fun to watch all tournament. But Nigeria versus Ghana, man. Nigeria has actually never lost a WAFCON final. So if you're
Mm.
a Morocco fan, please close your ears and kind of tune out what I just said there. But what are your thoughts, man? How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah. It's funny enough, like Shabak's like stepdad or dad is a former Moroccan international and part of the Moroccan men's squad. Um, that I guess was the last team that won the WAFCON in like 1976,
Wow.
something crazy like that. He Allah Yarahmu passed in 2020. Um, but yeah, like basically his daughter is currently leading the troops on the concourse for their first on the women's side. So it's like poetic in many, many ways. Um, I it's so interesting sometimes, when players get seen, because I don't think she's doing anything that she didn't do before, but
Right.
just like what was the stage that was given to you to shine?
Right.
And I think that's why what we're doing here and what everyone else is doing to cover the WAFCON is so important, because just imagine there were no cameras on these games and they were
Yeah,
not
bro.
being exposed. You would never know about a player like this.
Yeah.
And she's 34 right now, and I'm thinking, damn, imagine if the cameras were on her earlier. Like
Yeah.
she would have potentially had such a different and a bigger career. I mean, she's huge in Morocco and like
For
in
sure.
like the MENA region. But that's really what I've been thinking about lately, like the importance of coverage and just putting the lights and camera on the people that are doing the work, and not like shying away in all these random things, but like really like, hey, it's happening. We're there. We're filming it. We're broadcasting it,
Yeah.
because it's important for many, many reasons. So I think this Moroccan team, like you said, as much as Nigeria has something to prove, I think for them the pressure is equally high. There's a lot of money, resources being invested in you, and I feel like, especially like when you're always the underdog,
Yeah.
and you get invested in, and probably there are people like, why are we investing so much in the women's game? You would probably have those noises like on the like the outskirts,
Mhm.
and now you're in your second consecutive final at home. You cannot lose, because
Yeah.
if you lose, is it going to be let's pull the plug or let's dial back some of these investments because they're not
Right.
panning out? So I think that pressure is really there. And then on the other hand, I think Morocco has like Shabak, who's 34, Rabah, who's, I believe, center back pairing. She's 39. You have goalkeeper Khadija Rimchi, she's
Mhm.
35. And then I think midfielder Badri, she's
Okay.
37, Najat. So you also have a core of players that are all phasing out career wise. So every game now can potentially be the last one.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think so. The pressure for Morocco is a bit slightly different than the pressure for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Um, so I do believe there's a lot of pressure, but the support, and this is what I'm gonna enjoy, I think, the most watching this game, is those two fan bases.
Yeah. Yeah. Going at each other, man.
Yeah, exactly. Because we know like Nigerians are gonna go crazy about
For
their
sure.
team. Moroccans are gonna go crazy about their team.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of Nigerians living in Morocco, and students, like people that immigrated, whatnot, working there
Yeah.
and all that. So there's gonna be like this beautiful blend between the fans already, and then on the field, um, I believe Fatima Tahnout is injured, so I'm
Mhm.
a bit worried about that because she kind of went off injured during the Ghana game.
Yeah.
And then Sana Saudi got her first start. She struggled a little bit, and I think Morocco, as I was saying like before, even the semis, like Morocco historically has struggled against teams are a bit more physical.
Yeah.
Like make the game a bit physical, rough them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if you let them play technically, they
They're fine. They'll all play you.
yeah, they're on you. They'll make you look stupid. But if you can rough them up a little bit, like that get closer, get the physicality going, it will be a very interesting game. I cannot pick who I believe is going to win this game,
Yeah.
but I think Morocco should go into this game with the same positive attitude and mindset they had, and I hope, because I feel like Jorge Villa made a very big tactical mistake in the semis when Elodie Nakash was preferred starter ahead of someone like Badri. So Ghana exposed that midfield in ways that I was like, ooh, if I'm a Nigerian coach or assistant or video analyst, I'm taking notes
Yeah.
because we might need some of these things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm very curious the setup. I just want to see a good game. Like I want to see a game like Morocco Zambia that we saw in that first game.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see in the final. I don't want to see this very highly tactical cat and mouse, like Tom and Jerry, like let's play chess and not checkers type of game. Like, nah, bro, there's a title on the line. There's history on the line. Go for it.
Yeah.
So no, I'm like really. I think if Morocco is gonna do anything, it's gonna have to come from. And I keep mentioning her name. I feel like I've been promoting her as if she's my sister or something.
Yeah.
But I keep saying Sakina Uzarawi Diki now plays for Tenerife. Still 23. I think if I'm a bigger European team, I'm trying to figure out how she's feeling in Spain. Like, hey, want to come to England? The weather is not great, but so I think she's gonna be the key together with Shebek and Jaredi. I think because those are the only players I feel like that will be able to force anything. No other player in this team at the moment. I think Miss Saudi can give you a penalty, maybe. But I feel like she came into the tournament a bit injured and she's not really gotten into her peak yet. But yeah, I think those tactically, is Morocco going to set up in a 4-3-3? Are they going to go for a 4-1-4-1?
Yeah.
Which they used against Ghana and did not really work out well because Ghana figured them out because Ghana was playing a 4-2-3-1, which allowed for Ghana in possession to actually just enjoy a lot of possession because the midfield matchup was just a mismatch because they had Shaney dropping in deep to like create a 4v3 in the center of the pitch. But yeah, I'm eager and nervous for Morocco because there's so much pressure. It's a weird thing. I would love for them to win it.
Yeah.
I would really love for them to win it. And that's not saying I'm biased or anything. It's really like it would be a fairy tale story. Either regardless, if they win it on Nigeria, but I think Morocco after that was probably would be the most rapid ascending into a title a team has had. Because like a few years ago they were losing 4-0, 5-0 to like Nigeria and them. And 4 or 5 years later, you're like in the final twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bro. I think, like you said, I think it'd be a great story, especially for a lot of the players on the team that is definitely on the at the end of their, I would say, international career. I don't know, bro. They've been a great story. I think for me, it's just really hard to kind of bet against Nigeria right now, transitioning to them. It's you got to give credit to the manager, man. I feel like every decision damn near has been spot on, and he's done a very good job in the short amount of time that you know I feel like he's been there, and I think, I mean, Esther Okoronkwo. I feel like you talk about one of the bright stories, one of the many bright stories of this tournament. Almost a goal involvement in almost every game she's played in. I think, and it's not just like she's this like she contributes in more ways than
Yeah.
when you see her, you probably think, oh, she's just like one type of way player. And
Yeah, because of like her body profile, you
yeah,
might misprofile like what she could do on and off the ball. Yeah.
absolutely. And then you look at her, and I'm like, wow, you have more assistant goals. You're creating more opportunities for other people you know, than I guess other positions that would. But she's been one of the bright spots of this tournament, definitely in
Mhm.
the attacking sense. Um, I just they're a well-oiled machine, bro. And like I don't I to your point earlier of Morocco struggling a little bit with teams that are a little bit more um reliant on the physicality aspect of the game, they tend to struggle with. Now, if if it's just like you come out and you play against us, I think Morocco
Mhm.
can definitely outplay them for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think Nigeria is gonna do, kind of a little bit of what they did to Zambia, and especially really punish them, with the physicality, especially like the height in the back.
Yeah.
So set pieces are always going to be tough to defend against Nigeria if you're Morocco. And
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I mean, we'll get into our superlatives here in a little bit, but it's like manager has been spot on. I think everyone has had, great moments. I mean, look at the Michelle Alozier goal. Like, you know what I'm saying? You talk about like an act of God right there. Like
Mhm.
that didn't, took a bounce, a favorable bounce.
Yeah.
And then, the goal went in, and that's yeah, tough for South Africa. But I mean, yeah, bro, I feel like I gotta side with Nigeria here, man. My heart tells me like I wanna side with Morocco. I'd be so ecstatic if they won, bro. I
Yeah.
would be so happy to see Shabak lift the trophy, 100%. I just I don't know, bro. It just seems like the writing. I feel like it's already written, bro.
On the
Mission
wall. Yeah.
10. You know what I'm saying? Mission
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Oh my God, to
That's
upset
a
the you
cool,
know
cool, cool, cool
yeah, bro.
story as well.
The the host country too. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Definitely. What are your thoughts on Nigeria?
man. I I was probably you saw it on my Instagram. I was doing some propaganda. I
That's off.
said I said Rashidat Ajibade should go to Utah Royals. She's the most Utah
Yeah.
Royal player ever, bro.
You said
She's
Utah
like
Royal vibes.
God, soccer,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
family, my
Yeah.
team. That's literally Utah. I feel like you know what it is? It's like sometimes you see people in their element, um, and she just has that like that. Like there's something about her that's so radiant.
Yeah.
Um, like the tenacity is there, the skills are there, but the way she's leading the team, the way you can really feel like I think in my last piece that I wrote about like the semis and the quarters and then previewing the semis and going into the final, I was talking about like Nigeria has found the perfect balance in terms of every player knows their role in the team. Even someone like Asisat was
Yeah.
on the bench. And I think the coach, for instance, bringing in someone of like Asisat's stature, and I don't know how he convinced her, yeah, you're not really gonna play a lot of games. Like you won't get minutes here and there, but you're gonna be, the one
Yeah.
supporting the team as an elder basically in this team,
Yeah.
and you can come and vibe and enjoy. And I feel like those type or Dega players like that who've been there, done it like 5, 6 times. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, how many WAFCONs you got? Yeah, I got 5 of those.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me like that Real Madrid like build where Real Madrid always has historically a few players in the squad who've won a lot, even
Yeah.
if they're not playing, but they know the DNA of the team. They
Right.
know how to, like someone like Lucas Vasquez, Nacho, that
Yeah.
entire lineage of players
Yeah.
who maybe did not always play a lot, but even if a player like Ronaldo and all these other dudes who are like playing a lot, they still respect them because they knew,
Yeah.
oh, when we talk about Real Madrid DNA, right there. So I think
Yeah.
when you talk about Super Falcons DNA, you
Yeah.
come at these players because they've been there, done it, they know what it means, and I think that's like a very stabilizing element, which then allows for the 11 on the field to feel supported.
Right.
It doesn't feel like we're in competition with each other. No, no, we're all here for that mission 10,
Yeah.
and that's what we're here for. I think tactically, I'm not worried about Nigeria's coach. He's had it spot on.
Yeah.
Justin Madogu has had it on the entire tournament. He's been spot on. I think I don't expect any changes from like the squad that was in the semifinals. Maybe uh, Chiwendu Iozu might be injured because she was kind of limping at the end of like the game, and she was also like kind of like replaced with a potential injury. But they do still have 2 or 3 players that they could like easily bring into that squad. I think the most important thing for Nigeria is going to be if Morocco scores first, how do they react? Because it will be the
Yeah.
first time trailing in the entire tournament.
That's a good point.
And I think that's the only thing I'm like, ooh, if it goes there, how do y'all fix that?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think that for me is like the main point of it all. I like I think it will be a cool story for Nigeria to lift that 10. And like I said, if you would, from like a tactical perspective, if you would ask me who to pick, I would not be able to because I feel like both teams are not only worthy to win it, but they're also extremely good teams that are well coached and have clear structures and systems of play. And I think Nigeria just has a little bit more quality because their bench, yeah, they can literally go on the bench and bring out people that have won the WAFCON 2 or 3 times. Uh, and Morocco doesn't have that much experience on the bench. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Um, and I like the point that you made about if Nigeria does go down, how do they react? We haven't seen that. We've seen how Morocco has bounced back when Zambia scored,
Mm,
within under a minute. That Banda goal, I mean, they didn't seem like they were rattled. Now,
no,
obviously, that's game one. This is the final, right? Like, obviously, there are going to be different emotions when if a goal were to go into the back of the net. Obviously, we're at different emotions, but no, it should be interesting, man. Definitely, you know, I, I'll be very surprised if I can't even say I'd be very surprised if Morocco wins. I mean, they show that they're one of the best teams, but it seems like such a kind of like an underdog, like a Cinderella story. But the fact that they're at home, I think that that could potentially be you know a factor in the outcome. But
mm,
before we wrap up, bro, let's talk about a few superlatives, man. I got a
yeah.
few here for you. Um, So, player of the tournament, I'll go first. I just wanted to quickly just touch on the two players that I had mentioned earlier, Shebek and Leslie Okoronkwo. I mean, from start to finish, bro. I felt like both players
Mm,
have helped their team kind of reach where they are right now. Um, two players in two different places in their careers, but
yeah.
you know, still influential in the way that they play. And I love the point that you made earlier about Shebek and just how she's been balling for a very long time. You know, like, and I think a lot of people are just catching on to her, but I'm telling you, if you want to look up a Shebek compilation, just even from this tournament, you will not be disappointed. I
Yeah.
promise you. But those two are my players of the tournament. Leslie, for reasons that I said earlier. But
Yeah.
who would you say your player of the tournament is?
Um, I would say Ajibade, uh, Enokoronko, and Chibak is a close second, third. Only
Mhm.
for the reason that I feel like Chibak, yeah, is going to be the leading scorer because she had that hat trick. But I feel like Ajibade has won the most player of the game uh, in the tournament, which kind of
Mhm.
tells you a story there. And
Yeah.
then I think Koronko was like in the last game, in the last two games, has basically popped up, and Shabak in the last two games struggled a little bit.
Right.
So I think those would that's why I'm ranking things as that as such.
Okay.
But yeah, I will give it to Ajibade. Like, yeah,
Yeah, bro. Going up to goalkeeper of the tournament for me. There's one clear answer.
yeah,
I would say Chloe and Ghazi for Algeria. Didn't
okay.
concede a goal. Obviously, credit to her back line, to the team. Defended very well.
And that backline, vicious.
But
Ooh.
yeah, she was. I can't even say she was chilling. She made saves when she was called upon to. So, for me, the standout keeper of the tournament.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
Okay.
1,000. Yeah.
Best manager. I'll let you go.
Oh, without a doubt, I will go for Nigeria's
Yeah.
manager. I feel like senior man Justin
Yeah.
Madu came in with a lot of pressure. He had no space for errors, and he didn't make any.
Yeah.
Uh, and obviously, I think the Algerian coach did his thing. There's like the Ghanaian coach did his thing,
Right.
but Larskim, what's his last name? Ghanaian coach Larskim Bjorking, and then Farid Ben Siti, who then coaches Algeria. I think they have done their thing, but I'm gonna go like the Nigerian coach hands down.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's hard to disagree, man. I think Desiree Ellis has also had a good tournament as well too. Um,
Yeah,
but I think him definitely. I like his swag. I like his swag, man. Um,
the Unk swag.
Unk swag, man. Yeah, bro. Yeah. There's so many talks about like how old are you for Unk status? Nowadays. I don't know,
It
man.
depends who you ask, bro.
Depends who you ask, man. What do you think? What's Unk status to you?
I think if there's a 19 something in your name, you've arrived.
Yeah.
You've arrived.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Let's do biggest surprise. For me, I'll let you go first actually. Go ahead.
Nigeria whooping Zambia 5-0.
Uh yeah. That's
You forgot.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I was like, damn,
Like
yeah, I
so
kind of low key
traumatized, bro.
forgot.
Said, nah, I gotta delete that from my brain. Never
Yeah,
happened.
bro, I completely forgot for a second. Yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
Yeah.
Um Yeah, my surprise was actually going to be like a bright spot, so I wasn't even really thinking about that. But that definitely was,
The biggest surprise. Yeah,
yeah,
for me.
something I'm trying to forget. Uh, I would say, yeah, biggest surprise for me, man. I would have to say is Senegal. I was really impressed
Mm.
with what I saw from them. And like you said, one of the teams, if they can continue building off of what they had, they got some youth on their side as well too. So it'll be interesting to see how they continue to build from this. But I was really impressed with what I saw from them this tournament.
Yeah, I'm telling
Um,
you, Mali, Senegal,
yeah,
Ghana, Algeria already did it. They went to France, said, "Hey,
yeah.
you're not gonna play for the French national team.
You're
Come
not.
play for us, bro.
Yeah, come play for
Flex
us.
this. Come on."
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah, Senegal
Algeria,
especially. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah, Algeria too,
yeah.
bro.
So I'm
And
like, Mali,
yeah,
start making some calls, bro. Like,
yeah.
get that scouting together.
Oh man. Biggest disappointment.
Hmm.
It's hard, man. I was thinking about this one. I don't.
Zambia. Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's inaccurate. That's
yeah,
accurate.
just based on potential.
Right.
Even though they low key had
They
the
did.
longest and most difficult route to the final.
Yeah.
You had Morocco in your
Yeah.
opening game and
Your
in your
group stage.
group
Yeah.
stage, and then you had Senegal that was balling like that as well.
Hmm.
And then once you get out of the group, Nigeria, and then if you would have won that, South
South
Africa,
Africa. Yeah.
that was long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was long.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, but still Zambia because of the way.
Yeah. The way that it happened, especially the exit.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know, bro. I feel like you could also argue. I mean, it's hard to say biggest disappointment because they were so good all tournament. They just had one very
that one
costly
bleep.
mistake. Yeah,
Yeah,
South Africa, man. Like it's hard to say that they were a disappointment, but my goodness, that moment was a huge moment that,
yeah,
and who knows. But
yeah.
best match of the tournament,
Oh, hands down, opening game.
opening game.
Yeah, hands down.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, we talked about that before. I don't think that we really need to touch much on that.
yeah.
If you haven't followed any game of this tournament, just tune
That's
in
the
to
one.
match day
That's
one.
a reference game.
Yeah, game day one, match day one. That's how the tournament started. It
Yo,
was a great tournament, but just kind of closing out, bro. I have a few things here, and we touched about some of these things already, but did this tournament raise the level and visibility of women's football in Africa to you?
I would like to believe so. And I think in a sustainable way. I'm currently, I need to work on this, but I'm working on a piece about like, and I hope to interview, for instance, the person leading the Nigeria's like social media campaign for like Mission X,
Yeah,
and potentially maybe the people from CAF, because I believe the way they've been trying to market the tournament, um, I mean, the athletic and all these other like sports spaces are either discussing it or mentioning it,
yeah,
which shows that the brand awareness is a level higher than it was.
yes,
Because if you ask people who was the WAFCON champion in 2018,
yeah.
to like get it, so I'm like,
Nigeria, yeah,
yeah, but I get it. It's like
yeah,
that, and now we're in that space, and I think the biggest winner out of it all is going to be the players who are going to get better transfers, better deals,
yeah,
and I think, like we were just saying about Shebek, like that highlighting, that spotlighting, that putting the camera on people that are doing amazing things. Um, it's just, I think could it be better? Yes,
yeah,
but was it better than previously? Absolutely.
yeah,
So yes, I think it definitely raised the level on the field, raised the level off the pitch, and has set standards that you cannot regress from again, because players and coaches are not going to be tolerating lower standards,
yeah.
and which I think is good. Yeah,
No, absolutely. I agree 100%. I think that there's going to be quite a few players actually from this tournament that probably get, calls or opportunity to go somewhere. I mean, we're seeing, and
Yeah,
we have seen like this wave of African players in the NWSL and just kind of how they're hitting the ground running.
yeah,
I mean, you
yeah,
could argue two of the top three, top five best players in the NWSL are both African.
yeah.
So, yeah, man, shout out to all the players, shout out to the tournament, shout out to everybody who's helped make this, what it is. It's been a great tournament. And like you said, man, I think that, step one is kind of getting everyone to even start talking about it. So,
Yeah.
um, because once you start talking about it and once you kind of start seeing the product, you'll see that, like, oh shit, like there's some ballers here.
Mm,
So, if the World Cup were to start tomorrow, which teams would you say are ready to like make a run? Could make a run. Obviously, it depends on like who you get matched up with, but
mm.
just in the sense of just like overall team.
Nigeria, Morocco for sure.
Yeah.
South Africa, I think, always on the international stage, does their thing. I think Zambia, even though they got demolished, I think because of the nature of how international tournaments are,
Yeah.
uh, have like the perfect players to play against like Asian teams or like some of the South American teams and some of the different like European teams. If they
Yeah.
don't play like a ball dominant team, they usually are able to do well. I
Yeah.
think those will be the teams, and I think I would actually love to see this Ghanaian or Algerian team at the tournament
Mhm.
because I believe Algeria, from the way they play structurally, already is on that level. All they need is honestly go find a striker, bro. Go find
Yeah.
someone who can put the ball at the back of the net,
Yeah.
and you should be fine because defensively you're so solid already.
Okay. Last one before our outro. What was your favorite moment on and off the pitch this tournament?
Uh, on the pitch, um, I think I'm gonna give it to. There was this moment where Hislan Shabak scores for Morocco. Um, the 2-2 against Zambia. And like they run to the corner, they're celebrating, and then she's walking back, and the camera like pans on her, like she kind of turns and does like the heart, and then does like the like chest forward, like yeah, I'm here,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah.
But in a way that it's not the same comparison, and I don't want to. It's a weird one to like compare, but it reminded me of like in the '94 World Cup when Maradona like looked into the camera and you saw that passion, like that.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing, but it's like
Yeah.
that same conviction and like belief in
Yeah.
this. We're here. We're at home.
Yeah.
We're here to like actually go all the way.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that moment for me is like one of the moments I really think about. Obviously, the Banda run against the four Moroccan defenders, that was
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about that Shabak moment, and I think off the field, uh, I think I've been enjoying to see like, even though there are not a lot of like other fans outside of Moroccan fans, I've been enjoying seeing the Instagram stories and footages from people who are just visiting the tournament and they're there and they're showing like this other like outside the field what's happening, how are
Yeah.
people embracing the tournament, and I think one of them was yeah, like we spoke about like Kelechi FC. um he he was leading the chants after the South Africa
Yeah.
Nigeria game, and I'm like, how did you went from fan to cheerleader to like
Yeah.
it's just things like that that just goes to show you like that warmth and that like just things that you can only see at a WAFCON in a sense, because
Yeah.
it's not yet globalized and supermarketed. Like the distance between fans and players is still very like it's not this, but it's this.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that for me has just been like this wonderful thing to see, that interaction, that warmth, and like how outside the field, you get to see how fans are connecting with the game.
Yeah.
Uh, and obviously, I would love to see more people in the stadiums. But yeah, like bro, if it's 94 and you're not gonna chill under the sun, you
Yeah. Yeah.
came with like no air conditioning and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. Those are great points. I kind of just wanted to echo your sentiment about like the. I think CAF has done a great job with this tournament. I think like the social media presence. I mean, social media is so influential nowadays. So it's like, especially, for people who don't, for people who aren't there,
Mm,
like the social media is kind of like the only way you get to really soak up the experience without, actually watching the games itself, or, reading articles and kind of feeling like you're there with them. So, everything, man, just the celebrations, the togetherness, even in a sad moment. And I hate that this had to happen to Salgado, but seeing the support that everybody showed and kind of, just kind of highlighted that, like, obviously this is bigger than the game. This is, you
mm,
know this is a sisterhood and a togetherness about everybody that's there. And I think that this tournament has done such a great job of and credit to the players and to the managers. Um, but I think this tournament has really shown, one, the talent that is in Africa, and
mm,
just kind of the potential that there is if, more investment, more eyes get on it. So,
mm.
hell of a tournament, bro.
Yeah,
And appreciate you just kicking it with me, bro. Appreciate you
yeah.
pulling up to the
Appreciate the
kickback.
invite to get the opportunity to do it. Uh,
Absolutely, man.
yeah,
Definitely. There's a lot more women's football coming up, bro. We kind of talked about potential things coming down the pipeline. So
yeah,
you're always welcome here, bro. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on.
yeah. Definitely, I think my like reporting season is about to get hot. I'm going hopefully to Newport Jazz, um,
Nice.
and because most of the work I do is like in that, you know arts, entertainment, and sports, specifically soccer.
Yeah.
Um, so I think after like Newport Jazz, and I'm done with like tuning all of those interviews and articles,
Yeah.
uh, I would love to like get back to the blog, the Substack that I run on like the presence and the emergence of African players in WNSL.
Hmm.
Uh, so for people listening, definitely tune into that. It's on Substack. It's called the African pitch side, the African wave. In the WNSL. So basically, I would love to come in and chat about how things are going from that perspective.
For sure.
'Cause that is one I've been highlighting and want to keep highlighting, because I
Yeah.
believe there's something magical happening, and we are literally at the front seat of it all.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Looking forward to that. Um, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, man. And
Yeah,
best of luck to you, bro.
thank
Closing
you.
out the everything with the Newport Jazz and all that. So, but yeah, you can follow my bro at Son of Jao. Um, and yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been a great WAFCON tournament. Muhammad, thank you again.
Thank you,
And
sir.
yeah, man, until next time.
Till the next one.